Hello, and welcome back to Dan's Solo Gaming. This time we're playing another one of the books of solo games that I showed in my last video when I played Void 1680 AM. As you may recall, I had picked up a nice stack of solo game books or zines recently, and eventually I'd like to go through most, if not all, of these on the show. But this time, we are going to be playing You Are a Muffin by Exeunt Press. This is not a euphemism for anything. The concept of this game is exactly what it sounds like. This is a game in which you play as a muffin and exist in a coffee shop and may or may not get eaten. Yeah, this is if nothing else, kind of an interesting experiment into what exactly a game can be, what kind of concepts can be made into games. This is, as far as mundane concepts go, this is pretty up there. I've always said that I think it would be a good idea to make a tabletop role-playing game set basically in the Seinfeld universe, if not literally set in the Seinfeld universe as in a licensed game. At least basically having that concept where it's just a game set in just ordinary everyday life, the excruciating minutia of everyday life, to quote Elaine. And, you can kind of go off from various mundane situations that come up and, get as wacky as you want or stay as mundane as you want. I think that would be a good game, for like a group tabletop game, I think. Or a solo one, maybe. But yeah, as far as mundane, the mundane aspect goes, doesn't get much more mundane than this. So it's an interesting concept for sure. So again, Exeunt Press is the maker of this. It actually doesn't have a specific author credit, interestingly enough. It's credited solely to the company itself, but made a couple of years ago, 2022 to 23. There's a little introduction there. Game concept, You Are a Muffin is a solo journaling game. You'll be playing this by yourself. Gameplay is mostly an exercise in relaxation, imagination, and writing. Unlike most games where you are playing the role of another person, in this game you are a pastry in a cozy cafe or coffee shop. From your spot on the counter, you'll watch as customers come and go. Or come in and out, it actually says. I guess I just inserted what I thought the rest of that line was going to be, but same thing, only different. Each customer will place an order and perhaps take a seat to stay a while. There's a chance they might choose you as their snack, but that's fine. After all, that's why you were made. As the hours pass, you'll become a bit more stale. Boy, I hear that. You'll make some notes about all of this on the included character sheet and in your journal. The game continues until either you are consumed or the cafe closes. And there is a little mental health safety notification here, so that's good. What you need to play, there's actually not a whole lot as far as material requirements for this one. Time requirement, it's about an hour, and we'll see how long it ends up being, I suppose. A quiet place without distractions. Well, theoretically, I have that, but the cats I just fed, but I can't promise that one or both of them, specifically one particular striped gremlin I'm thinking of, that very well could interrupt us at some point, but we could pretend we're in a cat cafe, I guess, if that happens. Writing implements, e.g. a pen or a pencil. We'll grab one of each just to be well prepared. So there's a pencil and there is a pen. So set those there. 2 6-sided dice, 2d6. So I'll get out my, I don't think we really need a dice cup for this, but I'll get out my dice tray, just so we don't lose any off the table or anything, and my Parmesan cheese container full of 6-sided dice here. Just grab 2 of these. Nice variety there. A black one and a red one. That'll work for us. Here's the blue one I used for Void 1680, incidentally. The only blue one in there. I don't know where that one came from. Anyway, I have that. Incidentally, I do have a container of, various Dungeons and Dragons dice too, which may come up for other games in, this run of solo pencil and paper games. A printed copy of the character sheet. There's actually a character sheet in the back of this, and I did run off a few copies of it, so we have that. And something to write on, e.g. a journal or a sheet of paper. Here is a nice new steno pad I have, so I'm going to flip that open. And I think we are set. The instructions will sometimes say roll 1d6 or 2d6. That's D&D shorthand, basically. Set the mood. While optional, your experience will be enhanced by taking a moment to set the mood. Dim the lights a bit if possible. This is about as dim as it gets without actually turning them off. Yeah, that's... Actually doesn't look bad on film, but for the sake of my poor tired eyes, probably not ideal. Sounds. Consider some background music and ambient cafe sounds. Here are a few recommended playlists on Spotify. So for copyright reasons, same thing we ran into with Void 1680. We won't be able to do that on YouTube. I assume not, anyway. I assume any of those playlists would have something that would get pinged by the security algorithm, but or copyright algorithm. But you can imagine like lo-fi beats to study by or something like that. Smells. Make a cup of espresso or tea. I'm not a coffee guy, admittedly. I never have been into coffee. And honestly, I don't really feel like tea at the moment either. So we'll go with a nice Price Chopper store brand cherry pomegranate seltzer, which is actually pretty good. I drink this a lot. I'm probably the Canada Dry version of this. Flavor is better quality, but this is cheaper, and not all of the stores around me have the Canada Dry one all the time, so often as not, I actually do get the store brand one, and it's fine. And actually, incidentally, cherry pomegranate is a flavor that was discontinued by Polar for some reason. They never had it in cans. They had it in the 1 liter bottles, but for whatever reason, they discontinued that. I don't know why, because they still have regular pomegranate. Anyway. Alright, so find your quiet place, make a cup of coffee, put on some relaxing music. We can just imagine we're doing all of that. The first step will be to create your pastry. So here is our character generation section. So we're not necessarily actually a muffin. That is actually one area where the title may not be completely literal, because you actually roll for what type of pastry you are. And there's a few options. You can just pick, but I think it's more fun to roll for it. So we'll actually do the name second. We'll see what kind of pastry we are first. So that's 1d6. We'll use the black one here. All right, so that is a 2. We are a scone. Raisin, currant, cheese, date, bacon. Ugh, bacon. I mean, you gotta go with cheese, right? So, yeah, we're a cheese scone. What name should we be? What name speaks to a cheese scone? Huh. We'll say Doug. I have no idea why. But yeah, you have, these are the options. Muffin, of course, and, various variations of the muffin. Scone, French macaron, biscotti, pain au chocolat. Ooh, that sounds good. Or croissant. Anyway, describe yourself. Write a short description of yourself on the character sheet. Well, little extra cheese, I would say. That sounds good. Yes, extra has a T in it. Flaky crust, right? Slightly oblong. I'm a little bit oddly shaped for a scone, I would say. So slight oblong. What makes you unique? What are your notable ingredients? We kind of covered all of that. Are you sweet or savory? This would fall under savory, I guess. What size are you? Slightly oblong. I'm slightly oversized too. And draw a picture of your pastry. There we go. That'll work. We'll put in a little bit of a chiaroscuro shading there too. All right, that works. I have to say, I sound pretty delicious. Or I guess Doug does. Anyway, fresh versus stale. You were just delivered to the cafe just before it opened, arriving in a perfect state of freshness. However, you will slowly become more stale over time. Very relatable. Your sheet has a freshness tracker made of boxes to check off. You start at peak freshness and no boxes are checked off. During the course of the game, you will roll dice to determine how much staleness you have accumulated. After all 50 boxes have been marked, you will be fully stale. Operating hours, the cafe opens at 6 a.m. You'll mark off the hours on your sheet as time passes. Each hour is associated with a certain risk value that indicates how likely you are to be eaten. All right, so ready to play. This is pretty much in order in the remainder of the book, but they do have a nice, handy list showing the general order of play. A new customer arrives, an order is placed, a seat is taken, items are consumed, a customer leaves. If you are not eaten, you become more stale. Begin the next hour. Slow down. There is no rush. Take a moment to enjoy the smell of your coffee or tea or seltzer. Cherry. Close your eyes and listen to the music for a moment. Well, you can probably hear the birds outside, actually, since I have the window open. Imagine what the cafe looks like. And fortunately, they have a nice handy photo here, so we don't have to imagine too much. We can save our imagination for the game itself. Take a few slow, deep breaths. And begin. All right, so a new customer arrives. At the start of each hour, a new customer walks into the cafe. Roll 1d6 to determine the type of customer. That is a 4. So that is the regular. So use the following prompts to write a description of the customer. So I'll get my pad out here. Customer 1. The regular. Thinking he's just like, regular dude. He comes into the cafe every day to get a pastry of some type every morning. Then goes to work at some faceless office. He's kind of like a corporate drone, kind of, middle management type of guy. Probably freshly shaven. Are they relaxed or in a hurry? He's probably in a middle, like not really in a hurry, but kind of he's going to work, so he's kind of like, ready to get moving for the day. Oh, I missed what are they wearing? Kind of business casual attire. We'll say he's like a jeans and a blazer kind of guy. Which I actually do that look myself sometimes. When I'm teaching, especially, I wear, you know, like a blazer, one of my teacher jackets, and have at least two of them have, you know, the patches on the sleeves and stuff, and, you know, sometimes I do wear those with jeans. I do that for my day job too, but certainly for my teaching job. Other than the middle management part, I'm actually kind of realizing that I'm kind of making this guy myself, aren't I? I mean, I guess the pastry is Doug, the pastry is not me. So, yeah, first customer basically is myself. So let's get rid of middle management. He's like a local, like a community college professor. Ready to get going was the rest of that thought. Do they immediately order or do they linger for a little while? Knowing myself, at one time I spent a lot of time when I was with a certain person. If I was staying at their place, she and I would often go to, there's like a bagel shop just downstairs from her apartment, so we'd go there in the morning a lot. And I pretty much always got the same thing. So yeah, this is like my regular order. I actually said my, since again, this first guy is just kind of myself. Yeah. What did they bring with them? Bag, laptop, papers, phone, book. Actually, he has a briefcase. He's going to his teaching gig, so he has a briefcase, which reminds me I do at some point need to get a new one because my briefcase that I use for teaching, like the locks are broken on it. It was a cheap, crappy one anyway, but... Hi, Tabby. Yeah, we're in a cat cafe. There she is. All right, so that's customer number one. Each new customer will place an order at the counter, roll 2d6 to add them to determine the customer's drink order. So we have a list of possibilities. We'll roll both of our dice here. That is 6 and 5, so that's 11. So caramel macchiato. I mean, I guess if I'm getting a hot drink, I might lean towards something like that, maybe. Again, I'm not a coffee guy, so probably, like, if this was really me out of the list here, I'd probably get hot chocolate by default. I'm not a big hot drink guy in general, but we'll go with the dice roll. He's not completely myself. Our first customer. All customers will order a drink, but the risk of them including you as part of their order will gradually increase throughout the day. Next, determine if you are part of the customer's order. Check your sheet and determine the risk value based on the hour of the day. So risk value 1 is 6 a.m. We might as well draw a line through 6 since that is the time we're dealing with here. Roll 2d6, do not add them. 1 and 4. If the individual, there you go. If the individual values of both dice are less than the risk value the customer chooses you, the game will end during 4 items are consumed. The individual values of both dice are less than the risk value. So basically at risk value 1, the first 3 turns you have basically there's no possibility of it getting chosen. You have at least 3 turns, the way the game is designed. If either of the 2 dice are equal to or greater than the risk value, you are not chosen. Make a note of what they ordered. Example, it's 10 a.m., which has a risk value of 2. Yeah, we can figure that out. Okay. A seat is taken. So use the red dice for this. 4. So, south low top table. So there's actually a nice little chart on the character sheet that has where the has the seat locations. So this guy, who may or may not be me, is going to table 4, south low top tables. So get a seat by the door there. Actually, if it's me, if this guy's relatively close to me, I don't like sitting with my back to the door, you know. We learned that from Wild Bill Hickok, right? So I'll sit over here so I can see who's coming in. Make sure nobody's gonna jack me with a sock full of pennies or anything. Mark where the customer is sitting on your cafe floor plan, specifying which chair at the table, if there is more than one. If the selected seats are full, the customer gets their order and leaves. Use the following prompts to describe the customer. Are they sitting alone or with others? Are they talking to others or remaining silent? My sort of self-insert here, I mean, he's sitting alone by default because there's nobody else there. He's the first one in. But if I came in by myself, my inclination would be to, you know, just kind of keep to myself. And I'd probably just be checking phone for the few minutes I'm in here. Items are consumed. The customer enjoys their drink or coffee or tea and perhaps a food item. Did they enjoy their order? Sure. Are they content with their choices? Well, you know, I'm content with this guy's content with his choice of drink anyway. Contentment otherwise may be up to debate. If they chose you as their pastry when they placed their order during 2, an order is placed. This will be the final hour of the game. Use the following prompts. We don't need to do that yet. Yeah. Page sticking. There we go. 5, a customer leaves. Roll 1d6 to determine who leaves the cafe after finishing their items. 4. Everyone at the table number you rolled gets up and leaves the cafe. So I'm actually, this guy's already, like, he was in and out. I, however you want to define it. So yeah, he's gone. Did they just silently leave? Yeah, this guy, myself inserts, just kind of quietly left. Did they thank the staff? Of course, I'm polite, I'm delightful. Will they leave a positive review of the cafe? No, only because I would never bother to, go on Yelp or anything. Nobody has time for that. Step 6, you become more stale. If you were not eaten, roll 1d6, go with the red one, 3. And mark off that many freshness boxes on your character sheet. All right. Each marked box indicates your slow progression from fresh to stale. Fresh to stale, temple to the tomb, however you want to describe it. Begin the next hour. If you're not eating and it's not yet closing time, you'll repeat this process. If it is closing time and you're still fresh, you'll spend another day in the cafe. If you are stale, i.e. all 50 freshness boxes have been marked off, you'll be tossed out at closing time and the game ends. Still fresh? The next hour will now begin. Mark one more hour on your sheet and repeat the steps, starting with a new customer arrives. All right, so 7 a.m. So again, you're guaranteed at least 3 turns. So we'll go back to step 1. A new customer arrives. So 1d6. We'll do black dice again. 3. The worker. So yeah, 2. My last guy came and went. So the worker, I'm thinking, this is probably more of a blue collar type of person. Or just save myself from getting too bogged down in imagination, because I already, I kind of revised the first guy. So this will be the corporate drone kind of guy. So more white collar for this next one. We'll do a blue collar person when we have the opportunity. But yeah, just to keep this relatively relaxed and not have to think too hard. So yeah, this is the corporate drone. Drone, shirt, and tie. Seems in a rush. He's probably one of those guys who's, more important to the company he works for than the management would ever admit to. So he's a little bit harried. Do they immediately order? Yeah, he wants to try to try to be in and out, So 2d6 to determine their drink order. So 11 again, another caramel macchiato. All customers will order a drink at the risk of them, including you as part of their order. Okay, so another 2d6 roll. Double fives. We're still risk value 1, so we're not chosen again. This guy probably just wants his coffee and be out of there, right? Okay, so seat is taken. 2. So south high top table. So yeah, he's kind of near the door. He wants to get out of there. That tracks. Again, he's the only one in there since the first guy already left, so alone. And he also, again, just wants to be done and get to work before he ends up being late or anything. Did they enjoy their order? He enjoyed it in the sense that, it serves its purpose for him, but he's more concerned with getting to work, so he's not really even paying attention to his drink. Once again, like with Void 1680, you can see just how truly crappy my handwriting really is, especially when I'm writing down notes quickly. I went through 4 years of art history classes like this. All right, so we're doing freshness now. Customer leaves. So 3. So yeah, this guy's actually still there. It's taken him longer to finish his drink than he was hoping for. So now I become more stale. So 1d6 again. 5. Ooh. I'm getting kind of stale here too. So I was at 3. 3, 4, 5. So yeah, 8 staleness. All right, so hour 3. Okay, so next new customer. We'll do 3 here. 1, the writer. So I'm thinking, if you've played Maniac Mansion, I'm thinking the writer character in Maniac Mansion, which, by the way, I have a playthrough of where I do use the writer character. If you go to my Dan Plays playlist, I did that one a while ago, but it's still up, of course. But yeah, Wendy, the writer in Maniac Mansion. So, kind of short woman, short brown or black hair. Wendy in the game, I think, had a red top, so we'll track that. Relaxed or in a hurry. Yeah, she's not really in a hurry. She's trying to make her career work as a writer, so she's, gonna do some writing while she's here, but she's not on a particular schedule. Do they immediately order? Yeah, sure. I mean, nobody's at the counter, so why not? And she has her laptop with her. Okay. I'm realizing since we're recording this, I actually probably don't really need to be doing the notes for the characters, but why not? All right, 2d6 for Wendy's drink order here. So that is 6. So she gets a cafe latte, a creamer drink of choice. Yeah, I feel like I'm talking a little fast, but I really can't be sure, you know. Okay. So risk value, we are on hour 3. So I didn't mark that down. Still risk value 1. We'll do the roll, but it doesn't matter again because we can't actually be chosen. Risk value based on the hour of the day. If the individual values of both dice are less than the risk value. So yeah, we're still not chosen. Where does Wendy sit? Wendy 6. That's a 1. So she's like, she doesn't want to sit right next to the last guy, so she's like here, basically. Here is where I was indicating, just to get that in frame. Mark where this customer is sitting. So she's sitting alone also. And she's typing on her laptop. She's, you know, trying to start some new short story or something. So she's kind of engaged in her work. Items are consumed. So she has her cafe latte and whatever pastry she got that isn't me. And yeah, she's fine with it. Customer leaves. So 1d6, that's 2. So the first guy, the corporate drone, he's out of there. Wendy's still writing away. And we begin our next hour. So hour 4. And I'll start a new page in the steno book, which again, don't really need for a recorded game of this, but why not? And we go back to the top of the hour. So 1d6 for our new customer. That's a 4. So 4 is another regular. Say she's another faculty member from the college, that the first customer who's already left. Another community college. Adjunct. Little different schedule than the first guy, so she just missed him an hour ago when he left. We'll say she asked the person behind the counter if he had come in, and she said he did, but he already left. Was there? She's kind of similar, like the female version of the first guy's, you know, business casual kind of dress. She has like a messenger bag. And she's gonna order 6, that's a latte macchiato. Okay, so we are now in danger of being consumed. So that's 6 and a 4, risk value 2. So we're still not chosen. I forgot to do staleness for the last turn, didn't I? Let's do that real quick. So 1d6. 2. All right. So yeah, we're a fifth of the way towards being stale. All right, so this lady doesn't pick me. She gets like probably like a bagel or something. I mean, frankly, that's what I would probably get too, all things considered. There's a bagel place near me. I haven't had a real bagel. I guess I had like some cut up as part of breakfast on Christmas. But otherwise, that was like the only real bagel I've had in the last couple of years, and I would kill for a real bagel. Not like a keto bagel, Thomas's keto bagel thing, but a real bagel. And there's a good bagel shop near me at one time, and I don't know if they still have it because I haven't been in there, but I've been trying to eat healthier. but hopefully they still have it if I do go back there. And it wasn't a regular thing, but on special sometimes they would have a tomato bagel, a tomato basil bagel. Yeah, that's hard to say. Tomato basil bagel. I meant to say, but yeah, it was really good. Sometimes it was on special. You never knew if they were gonna have it, but when they did, man, it was good. They also have a spinach bagel as one of their regulars, and that's actually surprisingly really good too. It's slightly green, but if you can get past the slightly off-putting color, it's actually very, very good. So yeah, man, I really want a real bagel now. But probably not the best choice, unfortunately. Anyway, so what are we doing? She got her drink. Check your character sheet, so we did that. So she's gonna sit down. So 1d6. She is at 1. She's joining Wendy here. Maybe she knows Wendy. Wendy was one of her students. That's why she knows her. So she's hi. And sits down to join her. Wendy's like, she's a little receptive, but also kind of annoyed because she was just kind of getting into the rhythm of her writing. So this kind of answers some of the other questions here. So items are consumed. This teacher lady is good with her order. So we don't need to do that part yet. Customer leaves, 1d6. So yeah, nobody leaves. Everybody's still there. And then I become more stale. 6, Jesus. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Come on, I look delicious here. Somebody buy me. All right, so we're at 10 a.m. New customer arrives. 5 is the first time visitor. So I'm thinking the episode of Seinfeld when George, like the tourist asked George to watch his bag, and then George like just took the bag and started wearing the guy's clothes. And Rena Sofer, I forget what her character name was, but Rena Sofer thought that he was like a clueless tourist and like tried to show him around the city. And of course he was into it because he wanted to go out with her. Yeah, I'm thinking that's like kind of this guy, kind of like a clueless tourist who's, just looking for breakfast and stops in. And he's wearing like tourist clothes with, as Derry put it, chinos with notable wear on the buttocks of those chinos. He's not in a hurry, but he's like kind of a nervous type of person. And yeah, he goes ahead and orders. So let's see what he gets. So his drink is 5. That is a Cafe Americano. Right, so so that is a 5 and a 4, so I've still not been chosen. This guy goes and sits in 4, so he's here. Where actually that's the seat that I was initially gonna give the first guy, and then he left it. And I put him here. Anyway, mark where the customer is sitting. So he's sitting alone because he's new in town and doesn't know anybody. Items are consumed. Yeah, he's impressed by the quality of the offerings in this new unfamiliar city to him. All right, customer leaves. That was, I think, a 3, but it kind of bounced off the other dice, or the other die, so 4. So yeah, this guy was in and out. Wendy and her former teacher are still hanging out at table 1. All right, so staleness. Oh boy, somebody buy me quick. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so back to the top. 2 is the student. Could be another. This is like obviously this is like near a local community college. It's probably in a city because it's it's a coffee shop near a college. That's just kind of par for the course. It's not necessarily like the community colleges I work for, but anyway. Yeah, so this is a student from there. So she's by far the youngest person. That's probably not by far, but she's decidedly the youngest person to have come in so far. And this is 11 a.m. incidentally. So mark that down. She's dressed much more casually than certainly the previous faculty members or the former student, now aspiring writer or struggling writer that's already in here. But she comes in and she knows the professor, the instructor that's sitting there. She's in her class currently, so they're going to talk a little bit about what's on the agenda for this week. So anyway, our student, that's a 6, so another cafe latte. Or cafe late, I think I just wrote. Anyway, so let's see if I am finally chosen. 6 and 4. So risk value is still 2. So I'm still safely in the display case. Man, I got cheese on me. Cheese! Come on. All right, so student, let's see where she goes. 3. So yeah, she wants to kind of be close to the conversation that's going on here. Maybe she even kind of co-ops the conversation from Wendy, which Wendy's good with because she really wanted to get back to her writing anyway. So yeah, we'll put the student there. So that's if I'm consumed, and I'm not. Customer leaves. So 1d6, 2. Nobody at table 2, so everybody's still here. And then I become more stale. 6 again. Boy. 2, 3, 4, 5. Jeez. I'm more than halfway stale. This is getting concerning. All right, 12 o'clock, so the risk value's up, or risk value is up a little bit at least. So maybe the next person that comes in will pick me finally. All right, 5, the first time visitor. So we did the clueless tourist already. So this first time visitor is just somebody who just got an apartment nearby, maybe in the building, upstairs. Yeah, they're upstairs from the cafe. Let's say that. There's a couple of apartments up there, and this guy just moved into one of them. And it's his. Well, it's obviously a weekday since we've already established that, so it's not necessarily his day off, but he's off because he's still moving. And he's dressed, casual, old clothes that you'd wear when you're moving. So, yeah, that's who this guy is. So what does he drink? 5, 6, 7, 8. So espresso. Yeah, big moving day. So he needs some energy. That checks out. So does he want some cheesy pastry goodness to go with it? So 3, 4. Risk value 3, and this does not get combined. So I think that means I have been chosen. So I'm ascending into pastry heaven here. All right, so where does he take me to be consumed? So that's 4. Table 4 is by the door. So yeah, he kind of wants to be by the window. We'll put him here. He's kind of, checking out the foot traffic on his new street. So he's sitting alone, but he's gonna get out his cell phone and he's gonna call his significant other that's moving in as well, like she or he. We don't really know who he's talking to because he is considerate and doesn't use speakerphone when he's in public, but we assume it's a significant other and he's talking to them, about the moving maybe they called him. There's some like issue, like the moving van is going to be late. How about that? So he's trying to be quiet, like he didn't want to talk on his phone while he's in here, but he doesn't really have a choice, so he's trying to be quiet and trying to get the conversation over with. All right, so items are consumed. So yeah, if I did that right, I am being consumed now. So if they chose you as their pastry when they placed their order during step 2, this will be the final hour of the game. Use the following prompts to end the game. How fresh are you? 0 equals fresh, 50 equals completely stale, and I'm like smack in the middle. Actually past the middle, I'm at 30, so I'm verging on the stale side. How did you taste? So yeah, again, I sounded delicious in the beginning, but I have been sitting around, and I guess I don't have the best shelf life, so yeah, I'm kind of... I'm definitely not completely stale, but I'm getting a little dry, I'm still tasty, but the texture could be a bit better. He still enjoyed me, I still serve my purpose, but he kind of wishes I was a little fresher. All right, so I think that's the end of the game. Yeah, there isn't really past that. That's kind of the end game status. I've been consumed, so we don't really need to do that. So we had a nice little story of the morning in this cafe that we told. A few faculty members from a local community college. Clueless tourist shows up. I'm kind of realizing there's some autobiographical stuff that's coming in. Even I didn't live there myself, but I spent a lot of time in an apartment at one time that was not directly above, but very close to being above. It was actually a bagel shop at one time several years ago. Obviously, the faculty members play into autobiographical content. Yeah, I worked in a gaming character with Wendy from Maniac Mansion, basically. I worked in Seinfeld with the clueless tourist. So yeah, it's funny how much stuff from my own experiences and taste and whatever showed up in this. This was a fun little game. Yeah, I had a good time with this. I'll play it again. Maybe not on camera, but I'll play it again for sure. See what other tales of this coffee shop, pastry shop come up. Yeah, I'm very much reminded of, the song Tom's is the title of the song. It's because the restaurant is Tom's Restaurant. The title of the song is Tom's Diner by Suzanne Vega. Thank you, Tabby, for filling in the backing vocals. But yeah, fun fact, Tom's Diner, that Suzanne Vega's song is inspired by, it actually is inspired by Tom's Restaurant in Manhattan, which is famously the diner used for the establishing shots on Seinfeld. The inside of the coffee shop on Seinfeld was, of course, a set, and I've actually been there. It doesn't look anything like it does on the show inside, but yeah, the exterior is famous from Seinfeld. And it is there's the line in the song, the Suzanne Vega song, about hearing the bells of the cathedral. And like just up the block when you go out of that diner is, I think it's St. Patrick's. It's one of the cathedrals anyway. But yeah. Anyway, yeah, I just thought of that song. So Doug the cheese scone has been consumed. He got a little bit dried out, not too bad, but yeah, the moving guy needed some sustenance, and yeah, there you have it. So I think I'll call it there. I don't know what Tabby wants since she already ate, but anyway, we will see you again with another game at some point soon. Have a good night.